Mightyreacts, back on the reacts. On today's video, we are reacting to this YouTuber got life in prison by the man Ray William. So enough of the talking, let's react.
So this YouTuber had her husband killed. This is insane.
Damn.
Now the YouTuber, her name's Samantha, and Samantha's 21 when the story starts, living in Texas, and Samantha has big dreams. She's always wanted to be a famous actress, but unfortunately, she's just a mom from Texas. How's she gonna be a famous actor? Well, one day in 2010, I guess she realizes she could be famous and make money and stuff if she becomes an influencer.
What's up, guys? Hey, y'all. I'm not just like, hey. I'm kind of out there.
And so she starts making YouTube videos, a lot of vlogs and mom influencer content and other random review type stuff. And over time, her videos become more about her just complaining about her life.
For starters, you do not have a life anymore after you have a baby. You become mom, you lose your identity.
But what?
Bruh. Those are the kind of women that are not ready to get kids. Hey, sometimes it just happen to you do. Okay, those are the type of moms that are not ready to have kids. By the way she's saying that, she's acting like now that she have a kid, her life is miserable. Bro, kid is a blessing. And yeah, sometimes you are really not ready, but you have to be there or act like a mom. So yeah, and that's why use protection.
Whatever, she's making the content she wants to make and it's making her happy. I mean, she seems to love doing it. However, not everyone loves the fact that she makes videos. Specifically, this guy. His name's Ernie. And Ernie is Samantha's longtime boyfriend. And Ernie, he's the kind of guy who works hard. Like, he works 2 jobs to support the family. And they got 5 kids. So this isn't easy for him. And now Ernie wants to be supportive of Samantha's video making endeavors, but he gets frustrated with how much time she dedicates to making all this content. Because as the years have gone on, she started paying more and more attention to her YouTube channel than to taking care of the kids and stuff. And Ernie,
now I can really understand the man from the point he's coming. Like, y'all have 5 kids, and you see that the mother is taking too much time on the making content than taking care of the children. Then I can understand. As a man, you're working hard, you can get mad at that. But maybe, I don't know the situation, but maybe the mother's thinking like, let me work hard for this content that she can make it happen for them. But I don't know. Both sides, but I can understand the father, Ernie, more.
doesn't like that too much.
Not gonna light a cigarette?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Because you got that fucking iPad in your hands.
Where?
And so, from what I read, Ernie and Samantha are just fighting a lot and not agreeing on things. And a few years later, in 2014, I guess things start to get out of control. And their fights get physical. And we don't know exactly what happens, but allegedly, Ernie physically attacks Samantha. And Samantha calls the police, and Ernie gets arrested, and Ernie denies he did anything wrong, while Samantha gets an emergency restraining order against him. Like, it's a whole mess. Now, at some point during all this, Ernie and Samantha get married, and I'm not sure when.
Really, bro? But hey, sometimes love is more powerful than everything. So I'm not gonna judge them by that. But hey.
And in the timeline that happens, because this relationship just seems very chaotic. Regardless, he is now her husband. But even so, Samantha is still unhappy that Ernie is not supporting her passion for making YouTube content. And for her, this has gone on way too long. And so she decides to do something about it. And so one day, Samantha goes to visit her friend in the hospital who just had a baby. And while she's there, she meets her friend's boyfriend, this guy, Jonathan. And Jonathan, he's a really rough dude. In fact, he's just been released from prison. And he was sent to prison because he SA'd his cousin. Jesus. So Samantha is talking to Jonathan about all the alleged abuse that Ernie has been committing against her, and after hearing what she says, Jonathan gets really upset and he offers to deal with Ernie for her. So here's Jonathan's plan. Jonathan's plan is to get
this woman, really, bro? I don't know. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Ernie locked up. He's gonna plant meth in Ernie's truck and then call the police on him. And when they come, they'll find the meth in his truck and they'll throw him in jail. And so Jonathan and one of his goon friends and Samantha, they go to buy this meth that they're gonna plant in Ernie's truck. However, Samantha can't seem to find childcare that night, and so she brings the 5 kids with them. And so
Really? Bro, first, y'all went to discussion, disagreement, and the man allegedly beat you and hit you, whatever. And still, you go back with him and even get married with this man. And then, because he didn't support you in your YouTube career, then you went to allegedly hire this guy to set him up. And now you're going to, bruh. And now you're gonna put your kids in danger just to go set this man up. I think that's a very, very bad mother. She need to get locked up, but hey.
all 8 of them go to buy this meth. And so they get this meth, and once they have it, I guess they decide, why are we gonna plant this meth on Ernie? Why are we gonna waste it? Why don't we just smoke it ourselves instead? And so now that they're not gonna use the meth in their plan, they have to come up with a new plan for Ernie. And so they come up with this new plan, and the new plan is to kidnap him instead. I guess just to scare him? I'm not actually sure. And so Samantha takes her kids home and she puts them to bed. And Ernie's there. And so Samantha goes to bed herself and she waits for the kidnappers to arrive. And they're supposed to show up later that night. Sometime later, Jonathan is with 2 goons who are gonna pull off this kidnapping with him. And so they smoke all that meth that they saved and they head over to Samantha and Ernie's house to pull off this kidnapping.
Don't do drugs.
And so they get there and they quietly break through the front door and they creep upstairs. And suddenly, boom, they pull Ernie and Samantha out of bed and they tie Samantha up and they beat Ernie up and they force him into their car and they speed away. And so after that, Samantha is allegedly somehow able to get to her phone and eventually the police show up. And so they talk to Samantha and she gives them this whole bullshit story about how she has no idea who kidnapped Ernie.
So walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened.
Okay.
I was in bed asleep, and we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up.
Didn't recognize anything about...
They had black masks on, black shirts, black pants.
Meanwhile, Jonathan and the goons, they've still
good
got
acting
Ernie,
skill, huh?
and they take him out into the woods, and by this point, Ernie is not really coherent. I guess they beat him up pretty badly. And so they're walking along, and they stop, and suddenly, blam! One of the goons shoots Ernie in the back of the head, and he dies. So then, the men...
I just want to say, what do y'all think about this situation, bro? They had a discussion, they fight, whatever, and they get back together, get married, and this woman got mad at this man, or at her husband, because he didn't want to support in his career. And now she gets her husband, killed just because of that, but we don't know if it's true that he beat her up. We don't know about that. But now, you got your own husband killed, the father of your kids killed, for just not to support you in your career. What do y'all think about that, bro? I think it's a sad... Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a sad story for the kids, because now they lose their father. But I don't know.
hide his body in the woods, and they leave. Now, back at Samantha's, she's still there. She's still talking to police, and she asks them permission, I guess, to excuse herself and call her mom. And so she excuses herself, and instead of calling her mom, she actually texts one of the goons a few times and tells him to basically destroy Ernie's phone, because, you know, phones can be tracked. Anyway, so for whatever reason, police, they're skeptical of the kidnapping story Samantha is telling them. And so they bring her into the station and they question her, and she repeats her whole made-up story about how Ernie was kidnapped by some masked men, and she goes into all this detail about how it has something to do with his dad because his dad's a shady guy, I guess. I don't know. It's all bullshit. Now, already, police don't believe Samantha. They don't believe her story.
She's
And as
telling
they
too
keep
much
questioning
lies.
her story gets more and more flimsy. And so they keep talking to her, and her story actually starts to change. And at some
No
point,
shit.
she starts to kind of flip on Jonathan. And she tells police that maybe it was her friend's boyfriend who did it. And she blames it all on him and tells police that she's afraid he'll unalive her if she says anything. And so police...
And you are really telling this true story. And of course, the cops is not going to believe you if you start changing your story. That's the first mistake she did. But she's already wrong. But hey, let's see.
Find Jonathan, and bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. Also, bam, they arrest one of the goons. Here's his mugshot. And so, once police have Jonathan, he immediately starts talking. He tells them how he met Samantha in the hospital, and he told her
let
that
them
he would
start
take
talking.
care of the Ernie problem for her, and he even takes police to the spot in the woods where they unalived him, and he leads police right to the body. And so, bam, police arrest Samantha. Here's her mugshot. Also, bam, they arrest the other goon. Here's his mugshot. And so they're all found guilty, or they plead guilty for their role in this, and Jonathan gets 50 years in prison.
Damn,
One of the
bruh.
goons
Deserved.
also gets 50 years in prison. Another goon gets 93 years in prison because he didn't
Sheesh.
take a plea deal, while Samantha gets a total of 149 years in prison. And by the way, to this day, her YouTube channel is still up.
Y'all guys gonna watch her videos? Right. Hey, but listen, what do y'all think about this story, bro? I think the story, both sides was wrong in the beginning, but then for you to marry this man and then go and do all of that, get him killed, for you to murder the father of your children, that's bad, bro. And now you are locked up for life, and who's gonna take care of your children? But hey, all of them deserve the sentence. So yeah, we reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. See you guys on the next reaction. Peace.